Hi guys, how is everybody doing today? This is Candace with Astrologer.com coming to chat with you guys live about the full moon in Libra that's going to be hitting today, tomorrow, between the late hours of April the 10th and early morning hours of April the 11th. Hi guys, sorry to keep you waiting. As much as I want to say it was Mercury retrograde, it was just me kind of lagging a little bit, so I apologize. Being late is my biggest pet peeve, so I apologize. Hi everybody in the chat. I see all of you. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming. I've already got my sage burning, getting all of this stuff going. I don't know about you guys, but definitely the full moon is like already in full effect. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling particularly Scorpio today. So bear with me. I don't do a lot of stuff earlier in the day. I usually do stuff at night, but it's nice to see all of you. Thank you for guys for coming, and it's nice to be back. I think I took a little bit of a break, so I feel like I haven't been here in a couple weeks. But I love doing the new moon and the full moon astrology, and really want to get into talking about the aspects because there's a lot of stuff that's going on. I mean, I feel like this is a full moon, but I feel like this is like a full moon on steroids because of what we've got with the opposition in Aries, and also with Jupiter basically being conjunct within a couple degrees of the moon. It's certainly amplifying all of our feelings and all of our emotions. Thank you guys. It's so good to see you. Yeah, the last time you guys saw me, I was with Mike. So now it's just me. Now it's just me and Scout. Maybe he'll make an appearance. We'll see. But yeah, so the full moon coming. So it's going to be here at 11:08 p.m. And I believe that's Pacific time. And it's going to be hitting other times a little bit earlier in the morning. So just so you guys know, when you're working with the full moon, I'm going to talk a little bit about the lunar transits and how to work with the lunar transits when you're setting intentions, because I think that there's a lot of confusion with what we do on a new moon versus what we do on a full moon. And so I just want to like clear all that stuff up for you guys really quick. So when you're working with a new moon, so for example, the last new moon that we had, it was in Aries, and that was like setting new intentions. If you guys haven't seen the video, go back and check it out. But setting intentions for yourself, obviously it's about new beginnings. It was the very first new moon of 2017. And you want to look at wherever the zodiac falls in your particular chart. But in general, new moons are new beginnings. This is when the moon is black. There's nothing there. So you're starting with an idea. You're starting with the seed. It's very similar to like the magician card. It's like there was an idea and we gave birth to that idea, and then we wait the 6 months for the lunar cycles to cycle through until we get to the full moon in that sign, when we're actually cultivating and working on and learning and developing until we get into the full moon, when we should be seeing that stuff coming into completion. Because I'm seeing people that are going, it's a full moon, it's a full moon, time to release. Like, okay, you can do that. A full moon is very powerful, but what we really need to focus on is that actually, if we're going to be doing any release work, it's more so associated with a new moon, because we're saying, okay, scrap this, clean slate, letting go of everything in the past, and we're starting over. The full moon is about endings, and not always bad endings. It's a cultivation, it's a completion. So we think of it like the end of the harvest, everything we've been working on, the past 6 months coming up into this point. So when we're having this full moon, we're pulling on the new moon that actually happened the fall of 2016. So not a lot of people realize that. And I feel like this one's really packing a punch with a lot of what's going on with the aspects. So before I get into that, just so you guys know, the difference between the new moon and the full moon, both of these, you have a 3-day working time, so you can set your intentions, or you can do your releasing work, or you can do your ceremonial work, or you can do your magic, whatever you want to do, either the day before, the day of, and the day after. I actually find with the full moon, I like to work when the moon is the fullest. So for example, all of my full moon stuff that I want to do for Libra, I'm doing it tonight, because tomorrow, although we're still in the full moon energy, the moon is technically getting smaller. So I would be wanting to do it tonight. But when it's a new moon, yes, you have the time to do it the day before, the day of, or the day after, I actually really like being able to do work the day after the new moon, because then technically the moon is starting to grow. It's not in its completely blank state. So I hope that this kind of makes sense for you guys, and that gives you a little bit more better understanding when you're working with some of these cycles. So when I talk about a lot of what's going on with the full moon today, I'm going to be talking about a little bit more what we are completing with this full moon, what we're feeling with this full moon, what it should be bringing to our attention, and how we're able to take the lessons that have come in the past 6 months and really be able to reflect on, wow, look at what I have, not look at what a mess this is. Because if you're one of those people, granted we are in a retrograde like tornado, if you are one of those people, I'm going to talk about how to better deal with what's going on right now, because for some of us, this does not necessarily mean that it is the, completion of a relationship. Some of us are still in the process of getting some insight on that. And you may see that play out still over the next month or so until everything is finished. I'm seeing what you guys are saying. Don't worry, I'll answer some questions as they go through. But those of you guys who have a Pisces moon, I'm seeing that I feel like you're still in the effects of either being squared by Saturn and Sagittarius, if you look at those degrees, or you're still feeling the effects of the eclipses that have been happening in Pisces. And the last one that happened was, I believe, the end of February. So you have to check the date on that and the degree. But we're still feeling the effects. I mean, the effects of eclipses can last months, if not years. So it's still kind of going on. So those of you guys who have some heavy hitting planets or placements in Pisces, that's kind of understandable for you to be going through right now. I see some of you guys now just starting to check in. Thank you. Welcome back. It's nice to see you. Okay, so if you stay till the end, and I'll try not to make this go too long, but if you guys stay until the end, I am going to talk about each and every one of your individual signs. I'm going to pull some cards, and I'm going to give you guys some psychic predictions and get a little bit of an idea of what's going on with you personally. Remember, you do want to listen to not only your sun sign, but you also want to listen to your ascendant or rising, as well as your moon sign. So if you guys don't know this info, go and check out a birth chart calculator online. You just need to know your date and time and location of birth, and you'll be able to get all of this information. Is tomorrow a good day for reconciliation? I'll touch on that stuff and I'll tell you guys, because it's going to be different for everybody. But I think this is one of those full moons where it's really, really, really good to know exactly where Libra is in your chart. And it's really good to know exactly where Aries is. So if you already know where Libra is in your chart, the opposite end of your chart is going to be Libra. They will always oppose each other, and they are opposites. Getting back to some of the transits, and I feel like almost like a robot, like I keep repeating the same stuff and repeating the same stuff and bringing up the themes of the retrogrades. And I feel like it's not even until I get further through the month that I'm getting more information, and I'm starting to actually pay attention more to how the retrogrades are affecting me and some of my clients. And so I'm seeing aspects of things that I never really even realized that are starting to pop up. Some of you guys are saying, you're talking about not knowing where Libra is in your chart. Everybody has a house that is Libra. And if you don't know the exact birth time, it's not going to be accurate. You can do a sunrise chart, which would be 6 a.m., or you can do a midday chart, which would be noon. But obviously, check those birth certificates, guys, and see what information you can get to be able to do that and have the exact information that you need to be able to have an accurate idea of what your natal chart looks like. So for the full moon that's going to be coming later this evening, early tomorrow, the biggest thing that I'm seeing is actually, with every full moon, we always have the sun and the moon opposing each other. So we know that we're in Aries season. So the actual full moon will be 21 degrees of the sun in Aries and 21 degrees of the moon in Libra. Every single full moon is in opposition. And so this one I think is particularly interesting because it's reminding us that we have to look at both sides of the spectrum. I'm calling this moon the mirror moon, and here's why. Here's the conclusion that I have come to. The biggest theme about this moon is partnerships, and not just because of it being Libra, and Libra rules partnerships. I think it's about realizing that for us to be a better partner, be a better sister, be a better husband, wife, best friend, coworker. We have to be a reflection of what we want. We really have to do this. And this can be something that's really, really hard to be able to apply, because it takes, it takes the patience, it takes the responsibility. It takes so much to step back and have a realistic look at yourself and go, okay, if I'm having issues with these partnerships or these relationships, then how can I help them? And we're feeling a little helpless. I mean, at least I think I can say that, feeling a little helpless about certain people in my life who I wish I could do more for. Feeling like I could do more for some of my siblings, and really feeling like, oh my gosh, if I could only just fix X, Y, Z for them. And then when I take a step back and I look at it and I realize I can't be their savior, but what I can do is all of these things that they're having a difficult time with, I can use this as a mirror. And when I reflect and meditate on it, I realize those same issues are what I'm really struggling with. So if I want to be a better sister, partner, what have you, I have to do the work on myself to be the best version of me, so that way I'm not constantly trying to save people. So I'm in a position of empowering other people and being able to be a mirror back to them. I can give them that. So I want you guys to really think about that, because I'm seeing it so much in my clients. I'm seeing it so much personally. I'm seeing that I can't complain about things. I cannot be the person who's running around doing damage control. And some of you guys are experiencing this in terms of your romantic relationships. And I'll go on my preach about that in a minute. But some of you guys are also seeing this about your relationship with your friends. There's so much stuff coming up about friendships. I mean, I feel like, when a planet is going retrograde, we say it's going backwards. That's only from our view from here, but really it's very close to the planet. So we're having an intense feeling of what that planet represents. So we're finding that it can be more difficult, ladies, how we are dealing with our female friends and how we are, getting along with our female friends, and seeing a lot of people who are really heartbroken over feeling like they're having to sever friendships with people that they've been have been friends with for a very long time. I'm seeing, partnerships dissolving in businesses. I'm seeing, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives. I mean, I know this is always happening, but this is a very interesting time to have all of these planets going retrograde through Aries, while we are also seeing Jupiter's going retrograde through Libra. So it's basically us being able to take a step back and go, we can't complain about stuff. What we're complaining about literally is being projected to us. So we go, wow, that sucks. Instead of, complaining and basically telling somebody how to live their life and how to fix something, we have no other choice other than to take a step back and make the decision that we're going to work on ourselves. Yes, mother-daughter relationships as well. I'm seeing it so much in mother-daughter relationships. I'm going to send this video to my mom. I think that the key to this is we are in a position of a karmic portal where everything that's coming through that we don't like, if you're living in a relationship with someone, if you're married or you're in a relationship and you're seeing this over and over and over again, the issues and the things that you don't want to work through, then what's going to happen is it's going to play out in your friendships. It's going to play out basically in your business partnerships. It's going to play out at work. You're going to have issues with all kinds of other people because you don't want to face that certain reality, because you don't want to learn that lesson, or you don't want to participate in that lesson. So the universe is going to serve it up to you any which way it can give it to you, just so that way you learn. So it's like I'm telling people, I was reading recently, it was saying it was about Saturn retrograde. I don't know who it was, so if you guys know who it is, give me credit, but give the credit to me. But somebody wrote an article and they had said, Saturn's going retrograde. Basically, it's going to be a problem for people who are basic everywhere, and that you're going to get what's coming to you. And I couldn't help but laugh, because I feel like there's some truth in that. And I think that we'll talk about the retrogrades. In fact, I will probably do an even more at length video, hopefully next week, to talk to you guys about it. But yeah, when planets go backwards, we are being given so many karmic lessons, and really being able to take those lessons, apply them. If we have been doing our work, if we have been honest, if we have been, making a conscious effort to improve our lives and our relationships and walking our path, then we have nothing to worry about. Like, basically everything that comes back to us is going to be nothing but good. But if you're struggling in some areas, it's not necessarily completely a result of how you've acted, but it can also be how you have not acted, what you have chosen to neglect. And it's going to come banging on your door. So to those of you guys who are choosing to not participate and be an active, conscious person in your life doing the work, then basically you're going to get hit by the karma train. Okay, I'm seeing somebody saying they're having issues with some audio issues. I hope not. I hope you guys can hear me. So that's a little bit about what I'm noticing with just the beginning getting into this. So like I said, every full moon is going to be a sun and moon opposition. So you're seeing both sides of the spectrum. And for the sun to be in Aries, this is so like divine masculine. This is so who we are. This is our identity. This is like all of our energy with where we're going and what we're doing. And then you've got the moon that's in Libra, which is like, although Aries wants to go, the moon in Libra is like, wait, but this is how I feel. This is how I feel. This is what's really going on. And with Jupiter being there, remember guys, anything that Jupiter touches, we're good? Okay, cool. Anything that Jupiter touches, it's just gonna totally blow up and make it bigger and better and more intense than possible. But what's gonna be interesting is, yes, you are gonna see with this full moon that there are gonna be reconciliations, or there are gonna be people that are like, that's it, we're done. No more, I'm done with this, because it's magnifying that opposition. And I really try to feel like, I don't want to be a doom and gloom astrologer. I don't want to be an astrologer that fears the stars and the planets, because the truth is, guys, you are here to supersede your astrological placement. I know that you don't realize that, but I want to let that like sink in for a second, because those of you guys who are like, oh, I have Venus conjunct the South Node, Venus conjunct Saturn, things like this. Yeah, so what? So what? Tough shit. That's what you guys have. But the truth is, if you're able to supersede that and see that you can take the lessons that you've had and be able to turn it around and be able to grow and achieve your dharma, this is the work, this is the struggle, this is the beauty and the struggle to get to your North Node, to get to your dharma. So this is what this is about. I love this. We are co-creating with the planets. So guys, we're feeling it. We're so emotional. I'm a hot emotional mess today, so I'm like really glad to even be here. But then on top of all of this, when the moon is conjunct Jupiter, the ruling planet of Libra is Venus. So it's magnifying majorly our ideas about love, about how we love, how we're loving other people, how we're loving ourselves, how we feel about love, how we feel about money. And everything is swirling around right now with all four of these planets that are currently going retrograde. Can anybody name them? Just for the fun of it. Currently, we have Jupiter that's going retrograde in Libra. We have Venus that's going retrograde, had gone through Aries. Right now, Venus is in Pisces, but it's still in retrograde. It's going to come back to Aries soon. We have Mercury that just went retrograde, and Mercury went retrograde in Taurus. We'll talk about that in a second. It will dip back into Aries. And Saturn, oh my God, I feel like it should be like doom and gloom and like lightning and stuff. But when planets go retrograde, guys, we have an opportunity to be able to clear stuff up, to be able to, like, especially when gnarly planets go retrograde. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? If Pluto goes retrograde, if Saturn goes retrograde, this is a period where we have so much time to get a bit of a break, and we're not getting this like butt kicking. We're getting a little bit of a pause. So I think it's actually going to be really helpful. But I also know that, like I said, Saturn going retrograde, especially in Sagittarius, are you guys kidding me? Sagittarius and Pisces, I feel like are very, 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 very spiritual signs. Like very. I mean, we think about the ninth house and Sag. This is how we connect spiritually. This is how we practice. This is how we connect with God. This is how we connect with spirit. This is how we have a direct connection to heaven or spirit or other realms that we cannot get to yet. But it's how we have access to that. So as Saturn goes retrograde through Sagittarius, it's 5 months, guys, 5 months of us going, okay, cool. So have I been doing the work? Have I been doing the spiritual work? And am I in alignment with this stuff? And Neptune in Pisces, regardless of where it is in your chart, does not play. It will not play. Now, it will not square Neptune. We're done with the Saturn square Neptunes, but it's making us still be in a state of connection to source. It's showing us that miracles are here. They happen in front of us all the time. It's a matter of whether or not we're conscious. Venus going retrograde, reevaluating love, reevaluating relationships. This is one of the planets that retrograde the least amount of times, or least likely. It happens, I believe, every 18 months or almost every 2 years. So Venus comes through and it cleans house for things, and it gets rid of things that we don't need, that would actually hinder us from living a heart-connected life. It would hinder us from having, the love that we want or the love that we need. Then we have Mercury going retrograde, and I know that you guys have probably had this beat into you by now, but it's issues with connecting, issues with expression, communication, electronics. I'll go into that, and I'll probably do another video next week for you guys, and I'll break these down more specifically. I want to try to keep it to this moon, but then later this month, when Venus has gone direct, it trades places, and Pluto will go retrograde. So all month we'll have 4 planets going backwards, and so it's going to be a lot. Like it's going to be a lot, you guys. It's a lot of cleaning things out. It's a lot of making space. It's a lot of being able to be very present with our emotions, and I feel like this moon is bringing a great deal of change. Now, we've got this precious little thing called the cardinal T-square that's coming back, and Libras and Capricorns and Cancers and Aries alike, we all kind of whenever we hear that. But here it comes, guys. And once again, it's magnified. I was talking to one of my friends earlier on the phone about this lunar cycle, and he was joking, and he was saying, well, yeah, the ball game starts around 11 p.m., but like it doesn't get colorful until like tomorrow. We've got a 48-hour period here where things are going to get a little hectic with some of the squares that are going to be happening. So this T-square is going to be where we're having the full moon. It's going to affect Uranus in Aries. It's going to affect Jupiter in Libra. And it's also going to hit Juno and Pluto, which are conjunct right now in Capricorn. So this T-square that's happening is iffy. This cardinal cross that we're feeling, it's pressure. But where there is pressure, where there is a square, it's basically the walls are closing in until all of a sudden it goes and everything opens. Whenever we have squares to Pluto, it's about power struggles, especially when it's in Capricorn. It's about control issues, having to learn to relinquish control. It's very strength card. It's like if you want to love something, if you want to have something, you can't control it. You can't dig your claws into it. You literally just have to let it go and let it be. And especially with Uranus in Aries and Jupiter and Libra involved here, it's basically suggesting I feel like we are developing and evolving and growing so fast. I feel like we're almost like superseding the 3rd dimension. It's like a lot of us are starting to figure out that we have to physically start to catch up and have to connect to where our higher selves are, or where the energy that we're picking up from what's going on in the future, and starting to like really ride the wave of the emotional changes. So unfortunately, all of a sudden we're physically panicking and freaking out and going, okay, I got to get going. I got to catch up. But in this case, we're going to see that there will be breakthroughs as a result of this full moon. There's going to be major breakthroughs that are going on. People are asking about people reconnecting, twin flames reconnecting. This has been the theme really since Venus retrograde started last month. But this particular week and a couple days and change is very interesting to me because, guys, we have Venus in retrograde in Aries and Mercury is retrograde in Aries. If that's not like drunk phone calls and texts from your exes, if that's not running into people from your past, if that's not being, you know, in a state of like, oh, that's it, I have to reach out to this person from 8 years ago, I don't know what is. This will probably, in terms of love and relationships, be one of the most interesting 2-week periods that you guys have seen, especially if you've got some Libra or if you have some Aries placement. You're going to see a lot of this going on. To those of you guys who have either Libra or Aries in your 1st or your 7th house, it's like, I'm scared to leave my house. Aries is my 7th house. I keep running into people from my past. I'm getting emails from people I haven't heard from in a very long time. I'm having dreams about people who I have not seen in a very long time. I have a Libra ascendant. I see what you guys are saying. So it's a little horrendous, but I think in this case, if things are coming up for you guys at the time of the full moon, it's only saying, hi, you need to work on this stuff. This needs to be cleaned up before you move forward. Saturn is basically saying, I support you all year. Uranus in Aries, Saturn in Sagittarius, and now the North Node that very soon will be moving into Leo will all be supported all year long. And so what does this mean when Uranus and Saturn team up? I mean, that's horrendous, but is it? Because if Uranus says and Aries goes, hey, we got to act right now. You know, we got to change. We got to change quickly. It's fire. It's fast. Saturn's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll help you support that. And then when the North Node shows up, which it should be, I believe, in May, and it makes its way into Leo, then we're really going to start to see the effects of where our destiny is going, creatively, romantically, spiritually, and Uranus and Saturn working together. I mean, if I think of Saturn and Uranus, I think of like Saturn being the really stern old uncle who's not so cool and probably like, I don't know, a history teacher or something. And Uranus being this like insane punky kid with crazy colored hair. Imagine if you take the creativity of that youth and you take the knowledge and you take the prestige and you take the practicality of that uncle and you throw them together, they can create some amazing things that will last. So what you guys want to be aware of what's going on right now is we are potentially in the aspects of attracting our opposite. We're attracting our opposite right now. And I'm seeing a lot of this going on with people bringing in, oh, I love history teachers. I'm just playing. I'm a big history buff. But we're bringing in people who are basically able to be a really great opposite of us. So it's not necessarily compatible. It's somebody who's complementary. So we're looking for something complementary, and they're going to start showing up. Because when you see that you've got someone or something complementary in your life, it's going to be a situation where it's dynamic. It's a dynamic duo. Maybe what you've been looking for, maybe what you think you wanted is not necessarily what you need. In fact, it may not be. Yes, it's the mirrors. It may not be what you need. When Venus goes retrograde, this is the time where we see a lot of people who are starting to date people or take up with people who are not what they would usually date, who are not what they usually would be with. In fact, they're very, very, very different. And so this is a good thing because you start to get a feel of what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want. And then sometimes at the end of the Venus retrograde, we're like, what the hell was that? What was I thinking? I don't date people like that. But you got a lesson out of it, or you learned something. They would not be there if you were not supposed to be learning something. Lots of karmic contracts, lots of karmic people coming through. So it's a really interesting time to be meeting people. It's an interesting time, and I want you guys to be really paying attention to who's coming into your life right now, because there's some weirdos, but I like weird. So like I said, ball game starts at 11:08, but it's gonna get interesting the next 48 hours because we're gonna see all of these squares going on. So although it's supposed to be intense and lovey-dovey, and there's a lot more feelings going on. There could be some reevaluations of relationships now that Mercury went retrograde, actually, I believe yesterday. So, you know, that's something that we'll talk about in a second. You know, Mercury has made its way through Aries, and now it's actually sitting at about 4 degrees of Taurus. And if it's sitting in 4 degrees of Taurus and going backwards, well, the ruling sign of Taurus is Venus. So it's interesting that we're seeing also a major aspect with Jupiter, and that the ruling sign of Taurus is going retrograde. And we're also seeing that Mercury is going retrograde. So this is bringing it back to the people who come in and out of our lives. And perhaps maybe we are looking at a situation where these could be people we cannot save. These can be people that you go round and round and round and round, where you're beating your head against a wall because it's so simple and it's so easy and it's so just matter of fact how to deal with some things, but you can't save people. And that's the one thing I want you guys to really reflect on. If you're starting to hit a wall with some of this stuff, then it's going to be a situation where you really have to take a step back and you have to use that mirror method, because I am genuinely starting to believe that every relationship is here for a reason. Every connection is here for a reason. Whether you're dating, your friends, you're married, your coworkers, it doesn't matter. Those people are a reflection. I'm reading what some of you guys are saying. Yes, the retrograde ends in a couple of days, guys. But remember, with retrogrades, we also have a shadow period. So the shadow period can go for like anywhere from like, I think 10 days to 2 weeks. So stay tuned. I hope to do a video next week talking about all of these retrogrades. Obviously, by that point, it's going to be wrapping up, but we will still be in the shadow of the retrograde. And fact of the matter is, Mercury retrograde is here. And I think it's really going to be bringing up a lot of the topics that have been happening really ever since the Venus retrograde started back in March. So what do you guys need to know about this full moon? Other than the fact that you could very well be attracting somebody who is either supposed to be a mirror for you, or if this somebody is someone who's more or less got it together, they could be your opposite. The other thing is Venus rules the scales. It has to do, Libra rules the scales. It has to do with balance and what's just and what we need in our bodies, what we need mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically around us. What's going on with what we're eating. You know, Venus likes to indulge, and it likes to indulge in, you know, luxury items, whether that's big ticket or big priced items that you're buying, reevaluating, you know, beauty routines and how we're treating our body or how we look. We're also looking at how we're talking about and expressing ourselves with our body. We're also seeing that we have to reflect on what's out of harmony. So if there's something going on and you're not getting enough sleep, you're not getting enough, you know, free time, you're not getting enough time to work on your creative endeavors, Venus, being the ruling planet of Libra, is totally going to magnify and expand. You know, I haven't been giving enough time to my creative endeavors. I haven't been giving enough time to my relationships. Full moon, I'm going to put an end to that. I'm going to make time for that. I'm going to make sure that I'm letting go of that, or I'm going to let go of relationships. I mean, in theory, whenever I see a full moon that's in my 7th house or in my 12th house, that's a really good time for me to do any like taking out the trash relationship wise. Those are the 2 times of the year that I do it, unless it's a full moon in Libra, because that across the scale is like, guess what? If you're done with these old patterns of relationships and you don't like that the scales are off balance and you're seeing that you're meeting people halfway and they're not meeting you, this would be the full moon that you want to be like, okay, cool, I'm wrapping that up. I'm not doing that anymore. Save more the manifestations for new love or self-empowerment for maybe when we have the new moon in Taurus, because that would be really nice for love and loving yourself and self-worth. Save it for when you have a new moon in your 7th house. You know, save it for when you have a new moon in your 5th house. When you guys start to learn how to work with these cycles and how they can work for each and every one of the lunar cycles, you're going to just be manifesting like this. You're going to know exactly when to pull things in and exactly when things are going to leave. And to those of you guys, I think I talked a little bit about some of that stuff maybe in my webinar, but I certainly talked about cycles and when things are going and when things are happening. So if you haven't checked out my Sex and Love Astrology, you guys can still take a look. You can actually go and purchase the seat, and you can take a look at it whenever you'd like. There's lots of good information there, and I'm hoping that we'll get to do another one, because it's like I could have gone on and on with that, but we had a nice group that was in there that night. The other thing that I see with this is exercise and being able to kind of feel a little bit better balanced. If you feel the need to get things moving and get things breathing and shaken up in a little bit, I'm actually going to do a little bit of a ceremony with you guys, and I'm going to talk about a way that you can do some breath work to literally clear the vibes of whatever is going on, or if there's like funk in or around your various auric fields, how to clear it and how to do it anywhere at any time in a very simple manner. So if you guys want to do it with me in a little bit, you can, or you can go back and reference this video and you can take a look and see how you can do that at a later time. The other thing that I like about this also is I wrote down, you can take a look at what's going on with your wardrobe, take a look at what's going on with your style. We're already seeing a little bit of this with the Venus retrograde. So if you're feeling like you want to switch things up and maybe let go of one style and usher in a new, or go and get some fashionista advice, now is a really good time for you to be doing it. My voice vibrates very high. Thank you. I have Neptune conjunct Saturn, so I get very... So that's pretty much everything that I have for you guys in terms of what I wanted to say about what's going on with the full moon. Those of you guys who are still tuning in, don't worry, you haven't missed anything. I was just bantering on and on about what's going on with mirrors. So remember, you think about what's going on with the full moon and that this is a mirror. So if you see something you don't like, try not to be reactionary. We're more likely to be a little bit more, I think, emotionally reactionary with this moon because of Jupiter. But see what goes on today, tomorrow, and be that reflection. You guys want to be clean mirrors for people. Clean mirrors for people. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get into a little bit of the ceremony. I want to do the ceremony really quick, and I want to talk to you guys about how I go about clearing my energy at this time, a really simple way to do it, and I do it with a little bit of a breathing technique that actually I learned from a friend of mine who I did some circles and I did some healing work with, and she's been really great. She's a good friend of mine. Her name's Erica, and she started showing me this, and ever since then, it has been so helpful. So I don't know if you guys like to work with essential oils or essential blends. Obviously, those of you guys who have worked with them before, you know that you really want to work with something that's diluted a little bit or it's cut a little bit. You never, unless it is stipulated that you're able to put something directly on the skin, please do not. So do a little bit of research of what you can cut things down with. I cut all of my oils down, usually with like a coconut oil or with an almond oil. That way I can get a little bit more out of the essential, and it's okay for me to put it on my skin or for me to put it on my hair or wherever else I want to put it, because Libra is an air element. So I want to share with you guys how we can start working on our breathing techniques and set some intentions, because as we take it in and we put it out and we cycle the breath, we're actually putting that into our auric field. We're actually generating that. We can change the vibration of our aura. This is why you see a lot of people who are burning incense, a lot of people who are burning sage. And those of you guys who are dealing with anxiety, or those of you guys who are really starting to feel it, this should be really helpful. So this is what I did. I pulled some of the stuff that I've got. So a couple of the essential blends that I like to work with, specifically working with Libra or working with air signs, is I have some spearmint oil or any mint. And so I feel like a lot of people who work with this stuff, they have some kind of mint somewhere in their metaphysical toolbox. Okay, let's see here. And then I've also got peppermint, so you can choose spearmint or peppermint. Sometimes people are a little bit more, have a little bit more of a preference of one more than the other. And the other thing that I've got here is some anise oil. Okay, it's like the little star seeds. If you guys have seen those are also really good for like psychic and intuitive work. Also, you know, when we burn stuff, like I said, we're working with the element of air. So I decided not only to grab some sage, because that's really good, okay, but sage is like, I consider sage to be like I don't know, psychic Ajax. I feel like it wipes everything out. So I always like to burn something else to bring something else in. So I've had a little bit of sage burning, but I'm also going to burn something else in a second. Thank you. Mint is good for stimulating the energy and getting things moving. It's also really good for clearing. And I saw somebody else who said lemon, although when I think of lemon, I think more Pisces, but that's okay. I mean, if you guys have a particular oil that you need to work with, that you connect with, use that, because magic is what you make it. Yes, all of the different herbs are going to have different metaphysical properties. I'm trying to find my book. I have a book somewhere. I'll grab it. But if you guys can get like a book that's going to give you all of the different herbal and metaphysical properties, that's a really great way to start. That way you can start learning. Epsom salt, spearmint, lavender. Yeah, if you want to take a bath, you can do that. You can do that. So I got my sage going because I always like to do that when I call on my space, and I have my little candle burning. You guys can't see it, but it's here. And I'm going to burn some Palo Santo. So this stuff's really awesome to those of you guys who have it. I think this works wonders for headaches. I don't know anybody else who uses this for headaches, but this is awesome. I like frankincense and myrrh too. I like that too. But in this case, I want to burn as much stuff as I can, and I don't feel like putting a coal out in my house right now. Otherwise, y'all are going to get smoked out. You're not even going to see my face. But this can take a little bit longer to burn. This is really great. Okay, the Palo Santo that I get, I'm trying to remember where this came from. I think I got a bunch that actually came from Peru. Sometimes I know other people who get it from Colombia. Yeah, selenite is great too. But Palo Santo is great because I feel like it's got a lot of healing qualities. And when I have headaches or when I'm trying to clear my energy afterwards, it clears everything. In terms of oils, I really like to use Now brand because I feel like they're really high quality and they're easy to get a hold of. And you know, they're relatively affordable. I mean, for every different herb or every different oil, it's going to have a different particular brand. But I always take it and I cut it with something else. I always use the Encyclopedia of Magic Herbs. I'm looking at it across from here. It's like a green book, but it's a really great book to use. So that way you can reference all of the different herbs and all of their different names. And in the back, you can actually look up each individual like element, and it'll give you all of the herbs for that particular element. You know what? Let me just grab it. Hold on. Let me just grab it for you guys. That was like my commercial break. Okay. This is the book. Okay. Scott Cunningham. This is like my Bible. I love this. This book is so amazing. And so when you get to the back, I mean, if you look, I mean, even anywhere, when you see the specific plant names and then the description and how you can use it. Yeah, a lot of people have this book. But if you go to the back, you can actually take a look at the elements. So if you wanted, you can go and look at one that's connected to, you know, Mercury. If you guys wanted, you can go and take herbs that are connected to Mercury and make a Mercury retrograde herbal bath, or make some herbal mixtures you could put on a candle, or that you guys can, you know, soak in oil and create your own oils. I mean, I make all my own magic oils. They're really easy to use. But yeah, check this book out. This is what I pulled out earlier to get an idea of what I wanted to work with. So we've got our stuff that's still kind of burning here. So to all of you guys who want to find a space and want to get comfy, go ahead and get comfy, and then I'm going to walk you through the breathing technique. If you do happen to have a little bit of your essentials handy, grab some of those, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we are going to utilize that in today's ritual. So as always, I'm going to open space, and then I'm actually going to talk to you guys and walk you through a breathing technique that I do with my hands. And I actually take a tiny bit of the essential oils, and I put them in my hands and I warm it up like this. Okay. And then we're going to take our pinkies and put them on our sinuses and bring our hands in front of us like this. I feel so silly doing this. And we're gonna let it go. But first, we're gonna sit with the intentions, and we're going to actually work the intentions into our energy and allow the energy to build within our auric field. So as we're working with the breath, we're gonna focus first on, because it's a full moon, what we wanna let go of, what we wanna release, what we wanna be done with. And then we wanna focus on what we are grateful for, what we have, what's around us, what we're appreciative of, so that way we can be in a space of gratitude. Okay? So let me go ahead and open space, and then we're going to get into that, and I'll show you guys the breathing technique. So get comfy. All right. All those in light and love only are welcome in this space. All others are banished now and forevermore. Calling on our guides, our ascended masters, all high vibrational beings, asking them to be present. We call on the four corners. We call on the east and the element of air for intuition, connection, for divine messages. We call on the south and the element of fire for purging and purification. We call on the west and the element of water for clearing, for healing, for love. And we call on the north and the element of earth for fertility and abundance and our ancestors. The circle has been cast. We are between worlds. We're night and day, light and dark, joy and sorrow meet as one. The fire has been lit. The ritual has begun. Okay. So, I want you guys to just sit and just focus on your breathing. So with the breathing technique, what we really want to get into is, I feel like so often we are not paying attention to our breath patterns, really the way that we connect with source, the way that we connect with spirit, and the way that it channels through our body, whether you're an accountant or you're a psychic or you're a teacher, it doesn't matter. We all have that spirit molecule. We all have that piece that connects us on a cellular level to divine beings, to a higher realm. The key to that is breath. We have to cycle the breath. So what I want you guys to focus on is being able to sit in a way where you're very well rooted. You can feel that the base of your spine is comfortable. You're not uncomfortable, whether you got to sit on the floor, you're sitting on an office chair, whatever. And I want you to just be in a space of noticing that you take your breath in for 3 seconds, you hold it for 3 seconds, you release. So it's going to go. That's really what you guys want to be doing on a regular basis. If you notice that you're having a panic attack, if you notice that you're freaking out, if you notice that your energy is a little bit scattered, if you're starting to feel like empathically you're picking up some gunk from other people, bringing your attention back to the breath is the #1 thing that's going to help you align and just feel better, like immediately. So what I'm going to take is a little bit of my oil, and I'm just putting a little bit of it on my hand. And I'm thinking about everything that's gone on the past 6 months and how it is associated and how I am completing and letting go of things and appreciative of the lessons that I've learned. Going back 6 months ago, that brings us roughly to like about, what, September going into October? THC oil. No, that's like, that's after hours. Don't do drugs, kids. So, taking the oil, and what I want to do is, like I said, you want to take the pinkies, okay, and you want to put the pinkies right here, and you want to bring this up, and you want to put it on your face. So if you guys are doing this, I'm sure I look totally crazy, whatever, I don't care. You're going to do the 3 seconds of the breathing, and so what you want to do is you want to take in the lessons and release the gratitude. So before we get started, what I want you guys to do is just take a moment and to think about everything that's gone on, what we've learned in relationships, some of the habits, some of the patterns, some of the things that we're like, you know what, it's just, this isn't just working for me anymore. It's not working. Once you get to that point, I'll give you guys a second and we're going to do the release. I'm going to clear the energy and we'll get going with the cards. So taking the intention, we're going to breathe everything in, taking it all in, and then we're going to release it with gratitude. And if you notice what's really interesting, every oil has a different vibration. I mean, I know that this sounds like super weird and like hippy dippy, but like literally, especially if you're working with some of the mints, what I love about this, and the reason why I chose to do a breathing technique with you guys, is because in the sinuses, in the mucus membranes, it actually holds onto emotions. It'll hold emotional vibration. So if you're noticing that there's a lot of stuff going on where you're having trouble expressing yourself, having trouble crying, having trouble talking about your feelings, this is a really great way to be able to take this practice and be able to release things without even feeling like you're having to talk about your feelings. So we're going to take one more, and with the group intention that we're going to take everything in. Releasing it with gratitude. So to those of you guys who have an interest in doing that, we're releasing everything. We're releasing it with gratitude. We're grateful for the things that we have let go of. We're grateful for the experiences that we've had, the people that we have met and what they have taught us, because it's helping us realign and be a better version of ourselves. We are so grateful for these people in our life because they are a mirror. You guys are so ridiculous. Let's try to keep it PG. So I hope that that's helpful. I'm really interested if you guys do end up using this and it works for you. You'll feel vibrationally stuff that goes into your sinuses. You'll start to feel it literally release through your body, and you'll start to actually feel kind of like a little bit higher. So everything that's going on in your auric field, it's like even me doing it, we start to see things kind of push outward and they're being released and they're being let go. So the more that you do this, and you can do this before a meditation practice, you can do this even before you go into having a meeting or before you have a discussion with somebody. If it's super intense and you need to have a minute, I mean, I think it's kind of similar to like the brown bag technique, where if you're panicking, you can like breathe into a brown bag. This is a little bit more of a fun way to do it. So certainly consider working with oils. Like I said, I've got spearmint and I've got peppermint here. These two are my favorite. They're also really great if you're having headaches. Or anise. I used a little bit of anise as well. Yeah, watch out with that tiger balm. You don't want to get that tiger balm anywhere near your eyes. You're just asking to go blind there. So be careful, guys. Everybody is hung in pretty well. I'm a little surprised because this is a little bit longer than I usually go. You guys are great. Yeah, I've seen way too many people put tiger balm places they have no business putting it. Just keep it away from your face. All right, guys. So who's ready to throw some cards? Because that's really what I'm getting excited to do. My whole face is like, I feel like I just cleared a whole bunch of crap. I probably needed that more than you guys did. How's everybody doing? Did anybody use anything? Anybody? Bueller? Today, working with my Tarot of Delphi. This is the deck that I want to work with. I'm going to go sign by sign, by sign, by sign. You guys are so funny. And give you an idea of what I'm seeing coming for each and every one of you. Thank you for being patient. Thanks for waiting. I'm like looking at this and there's still like tons of people watching. So thanks for hanging in there with me. All right. Lavender oil. Nice. Ginger. Lavender. Peppermint. Sage. Oh, I love it. Thank you guys for trying it. It really, really, really helps. I always keep a little bit of oil in my bag. So if I start to kind of feel like I need it, I can drop into that. All right. So take a look. I'm already kind of zoning out. The full moon's in my first house, so I feel like my body's here, but I'm not here. So maybe you're talking to Candace, maybe you're not. Aries. Aries, 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 Aries. Where are you guys? Guys, this is a full moon. Okay, and remember, you're gonna listen to your moon, your sun, and your rising. This is a full moon for you in your 7th house. Okay, Completion of what's going on in terms of relationships. But what's interesting is for Aries, you guys have so many of these other planets going through your first house. It's like you're changing, you're evolving, stuff's bouncing around, stuff's moving. Maybe you're seeing that you're having to really have a conversation and sit down with a partner or sit down with a loved one and really wrap up some stuff and get everything out in the open. Okay. And the card that I got for you is the Three of Coins. The Three of Coins. Look at how pretty that card is. Which is doing the work, which is good. That's a good card to be getting, because when you think about when you work your way from the Ace to the Three of Coins, it's like now you're really honing in on the things that you have discussed that you want to be doing better. Now you're able to get an idea. I mean, nothing about this seems like it's a finality. I mean, it's not like something is ending. It's not the traditional, you know, oh my God, doom and gloom in the 7th. I think it's basically saying we're going to put an end to certain things. We're going to stop these discussions. We're not going to have issues. If you're evolving, this might be your partner. If you're evolving and you're changing, then this is the way that we need to go about doing things. And we're going to apply the work and we're going to make it work better. So I think that this is a really positive card to be getting for Aries. I also think that this is talking about having an opportunity in business partnerships to be able to find creative ways to make more money, and to be able to work together with other people and to be able to, you know, encourage other people to work well together. I think that a lot of Aries and Aries risings are noticing that you're finding ways to improve how they're getting along with other people. Or finally, they're starting to get the program, now that Uranus has moved so far through Aries, that it's like now they're really ready and emerging and realizing we can take everybody with us. We can empower everybody to be this excited. We can inspire everybody to be doing well. And so I think you're going to see really good synergy this month in terms of what's happening with Aries within any of their partnerships in the direction that they're going in. And they're actually going to be starting to really apply what they're saying. Now they're going to start to be that mirror. So good job, Aries. You guys certainly have been doing the work. Let's take a look. I will pull some cards for you guys at the end. I'll answer some questions if you stay. Taurus. Ooh, that Mercury retrograde going through Taurus. You guys got a couple degrees. That might be good for you though. Maybe be a little bit more flexible with the communication, maybe, huh? Although I'm never crazy about retrogrades in general. I don't want that for anybody. But if Taurus is experiencing a retrograde, I think that this one might be just a little bit harder for them, especially since Venus is going retrograde. So it's certainly about talking about your feelings, my good friends, but also a full moon in your 6th house. To me, that's just talking about being able to make sure you can balance everything, making sure that you're, you know, aware of what's going on with your health, that you're aware of what's going on and, you know, what you need to be conscious of, especially in a romantic sense. I mean, are you so out of whack with what's going on with your love life maybe and having a difficult time expressing yourself and you're holding it in and you're noticing that maybe you're not feeling so great? You really have to pay attention to when you have a full moon in your 6th house. Make sure that your health is on the up and up and that everything is good in that regard. I do look different, I'm telling you. It was the oil, it just cleared all that gunk. Okay, Taurus. Okay, 5 of Swords. So I think this goes back to what I was saying when I was saying, you know, when I look at the 5 of Swords, I think it's about picking your battles. It's about knowing when to initiate something and when to just be like, you know what, whatever. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm not going to start an argument. When Venus and Mercury goes retrograde, like I said, it can be difficult you talking about your feelings. And also how your, like I said, your emotions are playing or are taking a toll on the physical body. You know, we're seeing that with some of the other planets and where things are moving. We don't necessarily always connect a Venus retrograde to what's going on with our health or with our bodies. But Mars is also in Taurus, guys. So you need to really be conscious and aware of what's going on with your feelings. And maybe it's a time to not have a blow up argument and risk having issues with your blood pressure. Maybe it's not a time to be feeling like you have to put all the energy in something and not be getting anything in return. It's about taking care of yourself. Especially, I feel that with Mars going through Taurus, it's more likely to make you definitely want to take charge and want to move forward. But I'm seeing this as like a situation where it's like you need to count your blessings and maybe sit this one out, take it easy during the full moon, not be feeling like you need to go chasing and running after something, but you need to really be conscious and aware of what's going on with your physical body, okay? Gemini, this is your 5th house. And let's take a look at what's going on for you, Gems. Okay, Page of Coins. So this might be somebody who, I think this is 2 things. Number one, this can definitely be somebody who's showing up into your life, but I always consider the Page of Coins potentially like the nightmare boyfriend card or girlfriend card. So this can be somebody who's showing up who may be a bit of a taker than they really are a giver. This is also a reflection that you need to remember. You need to be conscious and aware of what's going on with you. You cannot always be the person who is giving. If this is in your 5th house, also, it's about you potentially starting something or working on a project or doing something that's the very beginning once you have wrapped something up. So I could see that as you're closing out one creative endeavor, you know, the full moon can be delivering you a new opportunity. It also can be talking to you about how you're going about handling your investments and your creative ideas. Somebody can be bringing you an opportunity to start something new. You may not see it start to kind of develop until the next lunar cycle, but it certainly is talking about an investment of some kind that you're making, and it has to do with your creative endeavors. I also feel like the fact that it's your 5th house does deal with children, and the Page of Coins is a child. So it's saying paying attention to what's going on with a kid, paying attention to what's going on also with the retrogrades and how they're aspecting that particular house of yours. You might be a little bit more needy than usual. You know, you might need to spend a little bit more time, and it couldn't be a kid, it can be a godchild, it can be a niece, it can be a nephew. This can be someone that you're feeling like you're needing to take care of. Maybe you need to spend time with them, you need to nurture them. You also see sometimes the Page of Coins as a pet. I've heard that before, so spending a little extra time with a pet. All right, now we've got Cancer. This is your 4th house. And for you guys, this has to do, obviously, with the house and home. All right, so what do we have here? Okay, 8 of Coins. Okay, so when we have a full moon in the 4th house, I feel like, especially for Cancer, this is pretty significant because you guys already are pretty heavily affected by the lunar cycles. But I think it's more so talking about completing something within the home. I think also for a lot of Cancers, you are seeing that with what's going on right now, having Jupiter there, you are having expansions of home, you know, or topics. You're seeing a lot more stuff going on with family this year. But for Cancers in your 4th house, I feel like this can be a joyous time. I think that you can be finding that you can be coming together, and you might be expanding and realizing, I can't do the business here anymore. It's been fun, but I have to take my business out of my home. I got to be going for another space. I need more space. I need to be spending more time with my family. The 8 of Coins I also see as a situation where you're working really hard on your task. You've worked really, really hard, and you're doing it for your family. So remember that you need to be taking time also to be giving appreciation and having gratitude for everything that you have been able to accomplish, because I know it has not been easy for you. But be able to take the time to look around and spend time with your family and not feel like it's just purely doing your work. You might also find that, you know, it's a time for, you know, it's a time for you to be able to potentially wrap up some kind of work that you're doing. Because, you know, you see somebody in the 8 of Coins, somebody's working on something. Let's take a look. Okay. Now, the next person, or the next sign that I have is going to be Leo, and this is your 3rd house. And for you guys, this is matters of communication. This can also be siblings. This can be short distance travel. But what I'm seeing a lot for Leo, and I was thinking of this card before I even pulled it. I think I pulled it a little bit too fast, but that's okay. Here we go. 6 of Cups. So this is known as the reconciliation card, but I feel like this is also you being able to communicate more freely with people. I feel like, you know, ever since the eclipse happened in Leo is experiencing a lot of changes and a lot of things that are helping them change and shape their perspective on the world. So guys, like, it's very possible you could be finding that someone is going to come back. And this does not surprise me with the opposition that's going on. I really feel like for you guys, it's possible that there is still some spiritual lessons that are coming from somebody. I feel like somebody will be returning sometime before the next full moon, that are going to show up and they want to remind you of something. And if it's not a person, it's somebody who reminds you of your past. They may seem very similar to someone that you've met. They may seem familiar. They may be somebody also who's a little bit younger. They don't necessarily need to be a twin flame. I think that they can be somebody who reminds you of a friend from your past. Maybe they remind you of a sibling. Maybe they give you a story. They tell you something that makes you go, oh my gosh, wow, all of a sudden I understand it a little bit better. Helping with your communication, definitely helping with your communication. Everybody's like, they better not come back. All the Leos are pretty clear about that. Now we're moving into Virgo. Okay, Virgo. For you guys, this is your second house. This is where all the cheers happen for the Virgos, or if your second house is Virgo, if you're a Virgo rising, having a full moon conjunct Jupiter certainly is good news in the financial department. All right. You guys are so funny. Okay. So what does Virgo need to know about their second house? Okay. This is a bit of a sexy card, so cover your eyes, guys. This is the Queen of Wands. I should do the censor here. Hold on. Queen of Wands. Okay. So first of all, this is the best Queen of Wands card you're going to find. Second of all, this could be one of two things. So this can be a representation. Obviously, it's not the earth element. This is more like creativity. This is when I say abundance, I mean creative abundance, not necessarily money, although it's going to be that. But when we see Jupiter in the second house, remember, this is also about self-worth. So you may be feeling yourself a little bit more, Leos. You may be feeling like now is the time for you to cut loose a little bit. Maybe it's time for you to share some of what you have been able to accomplish in treating yourself, in treating somebody else, in being able to show your value to somebody else, for somebody else to be able to celebrate with you. I do think that with the opposition going on in the 8th house with Venus retrograde, yeah, you may be finding in order to connect physically better, you got to do a little bit of whining and dining, and it might be a little bit out of your comfort zone, but I think that it's going to be a good thing. It should be good for money, obviously. Whenever you have a full moon conjunct Jupiter in the second house, are you kidding me? It's very, very, very good time also for you to be having positive aspects to business partners, because it is Libra, and you are seeing that you are enjoying everything that you've got. But definitely think that it's going to be a good time for you. You know, the wands aren't just sex, guys. I think everybody thinks that. It's not. It's divine creativity, spirituality. Remember, the cups are more emotion. So this is also, yeah, you're more, sure, buy a lottery ticket. You could be a little bit more lucky, but I think this is also feeling very connected and being in your path. And for some of you guys, you have to see the tangible stuff, Virgos. You have to see, you know, the numbers and the facts and the figures for you to be like, okay, cool, I'm doing it. But allow yourself to see some of how spirit has divinely played a role in some of what you have been able to accomplish. Libra, where's my Libras at? Libra. Guys, this is your first house. Okay? So this is for you. And what's interesting is, you know, Jupiter is there, but Jupiter has been going retrograde through your first house. So you're seeing a lot of having to reevaluate who you are, what you're doing, your patterns. We see also that all the retrogrades are opposing in your 7th. And like I had said earlier, there is an opposition. So everybody's got the opposition, but if you've got Aries or you got Libra, I feel like it's just screaming, you, your partner, you, your partner. So Libras, how are you guys doing with being able to have better relationships with yourself? I hope you're doing well, because this is your card, 9 of Cups. This is the wish card. Now, when I pull that card, I'm always quick to go, whatever you're manifesting, whatever you're thinking, you're going to get it. I'm seeing a lot of you guys saying things are changing, things are changing, things are changing. Yes, guys, this lunar cycle is about change. But the 9 of Cups is saying whatever your heart desires is what you're going to get. When we have a Venus retrograde, we are more likely to feel inclined to be a little bit more of a hermit. So on behalf of Libra risings, I'm going to say this. Y'all need to get your butts out of the house. Stop complaining about your relationships. Start complaining that you're not meeting people. You don't meet people unless you try. So you got to meet people. 9 of Cups is going out having fun. It's being able to enjoy yourself, being able to indulge. But watch the indulgences, Libra. With Jupiter being there, you're more likely to indulge a little bit more than you should. So let's take a look and let's see for Scorpio. Scorpio, this is a really good full moon for you. This is a good full moon for you. It's your 12th house, and it's all of the stuff that you want to like do away with and dump down the garbage disposal, right? There's a lot of people just showing up. Hi, everybody. We're on Scorpio. So Scorpio, 12th house, subconsciously what we're releasing, what we're doing, what we're letting go of, what it is that is deep in our subconscious that we realize is no longer serving us. Here's what's, oh, I pulled 2 cards. This was the first card that came up. High Priestess, which a lot of the Scorpio placements are. Intuitively what you're connecting to, what you're feeling that's going on behind the subconscious, what's deep inside of you, something that's still kind of lurking. You feel it, you know that it needs to go, you need to kick it. You need to kick it out of you, because guess what? The next full moon we have, Scorpio, is your moon. Here's the second card that I pulled. King of Coins, but he came up reversed. So, to those of you who are in a relationship or refuse and are grabbing the corpse and yelling and kicking and screaming and don't want to let go of something that is hindering your self-worth, that is hindering your ability to move forward, Scorpio, please let it go. Please, please let it go. Please. Because I think I'm seeing it. I'm responsible for bringing people together, hopefully. I'm an ordained minister, so if you all want to get married, call me. But, you know, this is somebody who takes up space. This is somebody who takes up space. If you've got somebody, whether it's a partnership, an old relationship, a business partnership, something's not right here, because this is somebody who is taking advantage of you. This is somebody who knows that you have this undying love for them and that they still have a piece of you. You have to learn to take back your power. You can't let them have it. Okay? Thank you, Scorpio. It's been a public service announcement. Moving on to my Saggy friends. Saggy friends. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here. You guys are so freaking funny. I'm trying to like go back and forth, but once I start looking at some of this stuff, I can't. Okay, so Sag, this for you guys is your 11th house. This is a really nice place to be having a full moon. Saturn's going retrograde. How does that feel? For some of you guys, you're out of the heat. For some of you guys, you're coming back. 11th house matters. What do you guys get? The star. So it's really cool because I feel like, you know, the 11th house reminds me of like groups and coming together with groups, and Sag being, with Libra being there. I think that this is going to be a really excellent time for you to see who your support group has been, who has come into your life the past 6 months, or more specifically also the past like 2 years, who's been helping you through this spiritual evolution. Sag, y'all thought that you guys were spiritual, and then Saturn showed up and was like, oh yeah, let me teach you something else. This card is helping you give appreciation. This card is also helping you connect with these groups. It's like, this is your tribe. Like, you have figured out who's responsible for helping you through like the dark night of the soul. This is a lot that has to do with meditation and healing. This has to do with appreciation. Sag. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. So next we have Capricorn, which is the 10th house. Thank you guys for those of you guys who are still here. Okay, so for you guys, Capricorn, this is a completion that has to do with you outwardly, how you're being seen. It has to do with your career. It has to do with being seen in the world. Big things are going on, especially because some of the squares, so it's important to stay calm. The card that I get for you guys is the 4 of Coins. So this is what I think you're going to be noticing with this card in the full moon there. I think that Capricorn is going to start taking a look at some of their accomplishments and the work that they're doing, and realizing that the work that they're doing is as a result of working with groups of people. I think that Capricorn has an opportunity with the 4 of Coins to know that they have something stable that they're sitting on that is making it possible for them to be able to continue on doing what they're doing. It's like you guys have been building a foundation. It's just reminding you that you have to share this. This is not just going to be for one person. This is going to be shared. Looking at this also in terms of relationship stuff, I see a lot of Caps asking about relationship stuff. I'm not so much seeing a lot of relationship stuff coming from this card. I'll pull something, but I'm not feeling like, yeah, I mean, 8 of Cups. I mean, it's basically saying, what's in the past is in the past, guys. I know everybody wants to know about love, but for Capricorn, I don't see this being about love this month. I see it more so kind of being about, you know, when planets or major cycles are going on for you in the 10th house, it's not so much about love. It's about being busy outwardly in the world, especially when it's Libra. Now, unless this has to do with partnerships and how you and your partner are working together and being able to hold on to something, okay? So, now we're going to move forward to Aquarius. Aquarius, this is your 9th house. Full moon in your 9th house. And this is, this is the Wheel of Fortune. It says Threads of Fate, but this is the Wheel of Fortune. So, oh my gosh, first of all, this, when I think of this card, I think of Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune. It's like the odds are in your favor. But when you have a full moon that's in your 9th house with Jupiter on top of this card showing up, expect the unexpected. Expect miracles. Expect ideas. Expect things to come out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Okay? This is also when the wheel is turning, okay, over and over and over, the wheel turns. It's basically saying you have an opportunity here to accept what the universe is delivering to you. It may not be expected, but it certainly is going to be good. I'm also feeling like this is going to take a couple days to manifest. Wait for about 3 days. 3 days. That's what I'm feeling with this. 3 days, you're going to start to see stuff that's going to show up. Not immediately. Now we have Pisces. Pisces, this is your 8th house. 8th house. Jupiter and Libra. That's a nice transit, isn't it? Okay, so for you guys, I actually pulled 2 cards. The first card that I pulled, was the Page of Wands. So this is about, you know, creative energy, things coming in, things that are being initiated. I just dropped the other one, but just so you guys know, the other card was the 10 of Cups. So I feel like maybe, you know, Pisces, it could be trying out some new stuff and being able to have this newfound connection to a partner. You might be finding that it's possible during this transit, because I know a lot of babies are made during a Venus retrograde. Pisces, be conscious and aware of what's going on in the bedroom. You might be making a little buddy. I also feel like when I see the 10 of Cups and the Page of Wands coming together, it's having some really happy news that's coming up that might have to do with joint finances or anything that has to do with potential of getting somebody who would want to buy into something or wanting to help, give money into some of your creative ideas. They might want to help fund that. You could be seeing that that could be happening. You might be in discussions and talking to somebody about a collaboration this month, and they may have a lot to bring to the table that's really going to help you get things moving forward. So a lot of like new birth energy and things that are actually coming, which is kind of interesting at a full moon, but it's really being able to make the space for that. I'm seeing what a lot of you guys are saying. It was so cool to be able to hang out here and talk with you guys for a bit. I will take a couple of questions before I get going. I'm starting to lose my sunlight here, so it's going to be gone pretty soon. So those of you guys who do have to go, thank you for tuning in and for listening. I had a blast. I'm glad to be back. I'm going to be back probably next week and be talking about some of the transits, also everything that's going on with the crazy stuff that's happening with the retrogrades. I'll pull a card for a couple of you guys. The Giant Project, you're talking about having a Capricorn ascendant. Look and see where Pluto is. I mean, and if you've got Libra, Sun, Capricorn, Ascendant, Moon, and Cancer, all of those are getting squared, my friend. But let's see what you need to know. What you need to know, I have 2 cards. The first thing that came up is this 3 of Swords. So there's been a lot of stuff that's happened for you. There's been, I mean, that can be a devastation card. That can be a card that's talking about all of the heartache and all of the new beginnings and like constantly feeling like no matter what you do, things aren't moving forward. But you know what I want you to know? Another card jumped out with this. And like I told you about the squares, the sun does come out, my friend. This is a test, okay? This is a test for you. I hope that you're still watching because I saw that you put a couple of comments, but there you are, I see you. I'm talking directly to you because I felt inclined to talk to you. Every move that you've made, every place that you've gone has built you a little bit stronger and better and has taught you how to stand alone. Is this correct? Are you feeling like this? I'll give you a second. You still there? Literally just got goosebumps. Okay, because I'm channeling some stuff for you. This is what I want you to know. Even though things feel very unsteady right now, I want you to know that everything is getting ready to stabilize closer to June. I don't know why that month is coming up, but I want you to know that is the month when things are going to get more stable. There are things that are going to be starting to be offered to you that are giving you a choice. So when it comes to this moon, literally what's happening for you is you being able to reflect and think on specifically what you want, and all of the things that you've been giving to people, like unconditionally, is starting to come back to you, okay? It's coming back to you. Like I'm feeling also like one of the main things that you feel like you just can't hold on to are relationships, and I don't know why that's coming through for you. I don't understand why you're feeling that way, but I want you to know, like moving forward, all of these things start to come together in June. So I just want you to like really sit on that and know that what's happening is happening for a reason. Like I feel for you, like I physically feel what you're going through. And so I felt the need to reach out to you and talk to you, but really study those squares, girlfriend, because I'm telling you, that will explain to you why you have traveled, why you have had to move around. Like this is a reflection of what's gone on in your childhood. You know, you have to let go of the fear of not being able to be stable. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love being able to do that. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple other questions. Corinne Kelly, 29 degrees, Sun in Scorpio, card please. You have the same birthday as my doggy. Okay, so this is what I'm getting for you. Hero of Wands, taking the initiative and moving forward, things moving quickly, especially in regards to creative endeavors. This can be somebody who's delivering you a message sometime before the end of the month, and I believe that you're also going to be seeing that there's going to be some shifts that are going on in terms of what's happening within your close friendships, not your partnerships, but your close friendships. Some stuff's going to be changing there for the better, bringing in a new particular like energy. Okay, so many people. Okay, I'm going to take a couple more questions if you guys want to ask your specific questions so I can give you an answer. Nicola says, move on from my current relationship or stay in it. Oh, well, the question is, or the answer is the Hermit. So this is saying you need a little bit more time to sit on it, especially when it comes to me saying, you know, you can't make an immediate decision right now. You can't make a choice right now with Mercury and Venus going retrograde. This is the time to sit in it. But it's also saying, consider what's going on in your home environment. How is the relationship affecting your home environment? Do you have the space that you need? Are you able to feel like you're safe in your home environment? I feel like you won't make a decision until May. I feel like it's like a little bit more complicated than that. Okay, I'm going to take one more question. You look after doggies for a living. Cool, thank you. All right. Jaden asked, am I going to be moving soon? 7 of Wands. So I see this as positive, but it's saying before you make a decision about moving, which you may not actually do until closer to July, you need to be really evaluating everything that's going on before you make the move. Don't move and then plan things. It's about being able to have higher perspective before you make a decision. Very, very, very important for you to do that and really analyze everything that's in front of you, especially when it has to do with your career and you know, your ways of being able to make money and making sure that you'll have something that you can land on. Sunflower Girl says, please, I need help. I need to know what to do about my love life. Is this man the one for me? I don't know what to do. The Empress. This is bringing it back to what I was saying. You do what's best for you. Realize this, that if this is a relationship where you're having to question anything, the Empress does not question anything. She questions nothing. She sits there and she just receives. She knows that when she is in a place of complete and total love and appreciation and adornment, which you should be getting as the Empress, then you're going to know that this is the right person. But it literally has to be a reflection of you. And are you being true to yourself by being in this relationship if you're in a situation of constantly questioning it or having to chase this person? Are they making you feel like the Empress that you are? You guys are crazy. I see you, DeWicked. I see you. Guys, thank you so much for staying. Thanks for hanging out with me and for listening to all my rambling. I really, really appreciate it. I had a blast talking with you. I am going to get going, but I will be back next week, and really consider checking out some of that stuff with the breathing technique. Remember, when you guys breathe in, you want to warm up the oil first. You want to breathe in for 3 seconds. You want to hold it, and you want to release everything with gratitude, because during a full moon, we want to focus on the appreciation of what we have completed and what we have. So thank you so much, you guys. I love you so much. I'm so glad I got a chance to talk to you. And I don't get to respond to everybody. I don't get to respond to everybody's emails and stuff either, but I just wanted to say, like, thank you, because I'm getting a lot of emails of appreciation and stuff. I love you guys. As always, please check out astrologer.com if you want to have a chat with me. I can talk to you and take a look at your chart. I'm a Western astrologer. I'm also a practicing clairvoyant and intuitive tarot reader. I offer a whole different type of different types of readings. So if you head over to astrologer.com, go and search for Candace Marie, and you can read my bio, and we can take a look at your chart, talk about personalized rituals, and anything else that you've got going on in the spiritual realm. As always, enjoy your full moon, and please don't forget to like, share, and comment, because I do take a look at your comments and pop around every now and then. And until next week, I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Have a good day, and happy moonifesting.